Hello again, Goku-san DBC here. Welcome back for a new Top 5 Criminally Underrated list. This time we are checking out the Nintendo Switch. First I've got two honorable mentions to mention. And I could do another, probably two of these sometime in the future, as there's quite a few, in my opinion, criminally underrated games on the Nintendo Switch. Keep in mind, expect most of the games on here to be indie games, as the Switch is my probably main go-to platform console when it comes to indie games, though I have played quite a few indies as well on the PS4. But with that said, first of the honorable mentions for me personally is Sea of Solitude, which of the honorable mentions, this is actually, I think overall, I do like the art style in the game. I like the sort of cel-shaded look it goes for with the backgrounds and stuff. And some of the creature designs are interesting. And there's definitely in this game, though, I will say there's definitely some mature topics that are involved in it. But also at the same time, it is interesting the world it tries to create in here. And I do like it. And definitely some of the creature boss designs are pretty cool in all honesty, and I think the music is also solid as well. If you get a chance, I recommend checking out Sea of Solitude, as it's constantly on sale on pretty much every platform, as it is available on PlayStation, it's available on Nintendo Switch, it's available on the Xbox One, Steam, you name it. It's pretty much on everything. It's surprising yet still how few people actually talk about this game. Second honorable mention, yes, really. It is a very unique and different game. It is hard to really stand out in simulator type of games, but maybe the reason also I have to give an honorable mention to Bee Simulator is I do have a soft spot for honeybees. Predominantly because when I was young, I used to spend a lot of time at my uncle's, and he's a beekeeper, so constantly around honeybees and stuff. And I constantly find myself trying to protect honeybees from other insects, as frankly, bees are very integral to the actual environment. But as a game, Bee Simulator is definitely unique and different, really stands out, and it's kind of cool looking at really life from a honeybee's perspective is actually kind of cool. And yeah, believe it or not, like you see there, it even has a two-player local multiplayer mode where you can like work together with another player using a honeybee. I think is pretty cool actually. If you get a chance, I do highly recommend. If you can, like I did, I looked down and found this on clearance for like $5 a while ago at Walmart. If you get a chance and you see this game super cheap, I do recommend checking it out. It's definitely very distinctive and different from any other pretty much simulator type game I've played for the most part. Outside of May, the craziness that is Goat Simulator. But with that said, on to number 5. Number 5 is an old time classic, and really this was one of the trendsetters for like Metroidvania and really indie platformers, with elements also of a roguelike in it. Cave Story Plus. Original Cave Story is good. Cave Story Plus has everything from the original plus a lot of extra material. And personally, I like the characters in the world that Cave Story is set in. Definitely expect there to be a halfway decent difficulty, though I would say overall it's definitely easier than many other indie Metroidvanias I've played over the years, as I have by now probably played somewhere between 50 and 60 indie Metroidvanias. And luckily, this game, in my opinion, out of them, is one of the ones that really stands out above a lot of the others and really paved the way for many of honestly indie platformers out there. And I do like the characters. They may look somewhat simplistic, but I think they're still pretty cool and fun. And the game itself, the mechanics are tight, and I think overall the gameplay is superb. And one of the other things I appreciate about this game is the fact, unlike most games of this era, it actually includes an actual book in it, and even includes this, a cool little mini disc CD of music from the game, which I think is just cool. I love little bonuses like that, honestly. I've always been a sucker for that kind of stuff. But with that said, if you get a chance, give Cave Story a shot. Now, if you're a big fan of classic like Castlevania as well as like classic Doom, number 4 is a perfect game for you. An indie developed game heavily inspired from skins and things used in the original Doom games, but seriously, if you haven't tried Dusk and you are a fan of Doom, Wolfenstein, and many other of those style shooters, you will definitely enjoy Dusk. It is pretty cool. And I like a lot of the creature designs, really. Overall, look wise, the game feels like it came out from around, I would say, specifically reminds me of Doom 64 out of all the Doom games. As probably the one this closest reminds me of. Even the creature like designs and stuff looks like some out of like N64 or PS1 era. Admittedly, I do have a blind nostalgia for that era, the 5th generation. And I do have a soft spot for games like this, so which is why I do highly recommend checking out Dusk. This game, if you want it strictly digital, you can get for a very good price. Keep in mind, physical, unfortunately, is only available through limited run games, so keep that in mind. Coming at number 3 is, I think, one of the very much overlooked and brilliant games. One of the few Switch games I actually went out of my way to get the full collector's edition of, or limited edition, which was presently on clearance at GameStop a while back. I forget what this originally released at, but like when I picked it up, I think I paid like $30 for this. And I think that is very much worth it for all the extra content, the artwork and stuff. In general, I just love the game. It's really cool. It is a survival game, like it states, like surviving the wasteland. And basically you play as like a drone robot trying to keep alive this one single human girl who's stuck basically in a bottle in order to survive. If you're ever interested in me doing maybe a specific short like synopsis video or something on this game, I would be more than pleased to, as this is a game I am really thrilled the fact they did, of course, announce a little while back that this was getting a sequel. Thank goodness. This game deserves way more love than it gets. It is very unique and different from so many other indie games I've played out there. It's both has a sort of kawaii, cutesy gimmick, at least with the girl, but it is also very dark and grim. A post-apocalyptic world. So it is interesting trying to balance elements of both those together. Definitely makes it stand out for many others. Coming in at number 2 is, in my opinion, maybe the best 2D version style, like Souls-like as they call it, subgenre now. For me, coming at number 2 is Salt and Sanctuary. If you love high difficulty games like Souls, if you've played anything like, say, there's definitely many 2D style games out there. I would say Salt and Sanctuary is my personal favorite, though, in all honesty. And I am glad it did get a sequel. It is surprisingly hard to find a physical version of this game. I found this about like 2.5 years ago at one of my local GameStops. I would say within 30 minutes of me, there's like 4 or 5 GameStop stores. So I lucked out when I went in one of them and found this. Now, overall, if you get a chance to find this for a reasonable price physical, get it. It is definitely a collector's item. But I love the creature boss designs. And like I said, if you like high difficulty games, but you also want some beautiful, like, sprite 2D artwork, I definitely recommend Soul and Sanctuary. Can't recommend enough. The world is interesting, it's fun, good challenge, and as somebody who has a deep love for like 2D animation and sprite art, Soul and Sanctuary is one of those games that really just hits me the right way to really give me a harken back to a lot of classic games of like the 16-bit generation of Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Finally, coming at number one, and yes, really, a really cool, fun, and insanely underrated. Hardly anybody ever talks about this. You want to talk about an indie game with a great nostalgia hit if you grew up with like sprite 2D artwork of the 16-bit era and stuff. Seriously, Cthulhu Saves Christmas is awesome and a blast. If you want a good classic style, like turn based RPG, where by the way, Cthulhu teams up with people like the granddaughter of like Santa Claus and other interesting characters, it's a blast to play. I love the character designs. Plus, it's awesome that in this, yes, seriously, Cthulhu is the hero. Pretty cool. I like how it says here Cthulhu, Master of Insanity, if you know anything about the Cthulhu mythos. But seriously, really good. If you want to play just a really fun blast of a classic style RPG with many modern sensibilities to it, especially gameplay wise and storytelling, it is great. The music is fun. Overall, I can't recommend Cthulhu Saves Christmas enough. But with that said, that's it for this time. Tell me what your thoughts are on the list of games that I put here, of, in my opinion, 5 criminally underrated games for the Nintendo Switch. What, in your opinion, are some of the best, and do you agree with me that arguably many of the Switch's best games are indie games? That's where more of the creativity is nowadays. But with that said, I'll see you all again soon enough. Hopefully enjoyed the music in the background from Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, Trevor's Town. See you again soon.